What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Always Compete Seahawks podcast. I am Sam. Uh, I don't know what I just watched. The Seahawks just wrapped up their 30-13 opening day loss to the LA Rams. Um, doesn't really have a script. I'm just going to be kind of going through my thoughts on the game, what I really took away. I feel like the first thing you automatically have to talk about is this defense. Uh, it's bad. It's bad, or at least they were bad today. Obviously, you're missing two pretty crucial pieces in that secondary. You're talking about Devin Witherspoon. You're talking about Jamal Adams. Will those guys make a difference? Yes. I'm more so concerned about this pass rush, which has no fire in it at all, just based on what we saw today. Chenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Daryl Taylor were all non-factors. Jaron Reed, besides the blocked field goal, was a non-factor. Draymond Jones was a non-factor. Mike Morris, Derek Hall, none of these guys did anything out there. No pressure. I believe there was two pressures all day on Matt Stafford. These are things that are extremely discouraging for a team that went out, made some moves, spent some money on this D line. It seems to be more of the same, if not worse. So I'm not going to say this is a definitive truth, but if this is the way that this D line is going to be playing all year, we're in for a long ride, especially when you look at who we have next week with the Detroit Lions, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Um, I'm not looking forward to it, frankly. I'm not. So we're going to see where that goes. We're going to pray for that. The entire defense just really looked lost today, frankly. If I'm going off of what I really think, I think the defense just looked totally lost. We did not cover the middle all game. I felt like the sidelines were fairly well covered. When it came to the middle, they were just picking all day long. Kind of 10, 15-yard passes were really the backbreaker here. I feel like the tackling and the run defense was not an issue. I feel like the run defense really looked good, didn't allow any huge runs. But as it goes for the pass, I think that this defense is going to have a ton to fix as we kind of head into next week, and especially looking at where we were last year in the pass, which was one of the better pass defenses in the NFL. Now we're talking about a defense that got shredded by Matt Stafford today. That was what I took away from the first half. The second half was the offense's absolute inability to get yards. Geno Smith looked bad in the second half. He just was not on it, wasn't hitting his throws, didn't really have a lot of time. DK was straight up childish late in the game, and I'll talk about that a little bit later with one of my other topics that I kind of want to hit on. I think that when we're talking about what we were expecting from the Seahawks offense was explosive pass plays. Kind of each receiver doing their own special thing. JSN being the short range, Tyler Lockett being mid range, DK being the long range. None of those guys did any three today. JSN was extremely disappointing. I would say I really expected with this on paper thin Rams secondary. I really expected JSN to have a nice game against that third string Rams corner. Don't even know his name. But yeah, it was he didn't do anything. DK had a touchdown, and then I don't think had a catch for the rest of the game. Tyler Lockett had a concussion, or at least was checked for a concussion at one point, and then came back in and didn't do anything. Tight end game was non-existent. The run game was pretty good in the first half. It totally disappeared in the second half. Don't really know what happened with that. But yeah, the run game looked really good in the first half. We're talking chunk gains every play, 10, 15-yard gains with Kenneth Walker, and then it kind of just stopped. So we'll see where that kind of went as it goes for, kind of what we're expecting with the Seahawks offense. Frankly, this offense was just very bad today, and the main thing I want to touch on is this coaching staff has serious problems. The defense simply could not adjust to the Rams game plan all day, which was clearly hit you in the middle of the field. And yes, it's difficult for those guys to cover their zones, and it's easy for plays to break down and stuff to develop when your D-line gets no pressure. But at the same time, if you just had a man covering that mid zone, we're talking about hundreds of yards that the Rams would not have gained. It's bad, and that just starts with the defense. The defense just did not have it all day. Got walked on, seemed demoralized, seemed kind of tired and sluggish all game. And I understand it's week one and players are trying to get into that kind of playing shape. But I mean, man, it was just absolutely abysmal what they went out and did to us today. Embarrassing at home. Fans booed. The offensive coaching is bad. I have never been a huge fan of Shane Waldron. I feel like a lot of his coaching calls are pretty whatever, and I feel like his scheme didn't really take much from the Rams, which is obviously works. It obviously works. So try to take stuff away from the Rams, and he just didn't. Kind of ran a Brian Schottenheimer 2.0 offense, it seems like. So we're talking about an offense that and this will play really sticks out. Second half, I believe the Rams just kicked a field goal. No, wait, maybe I'm wrong. I think they just scored a touchdown because they scored one touchdown. And then, wait, hang on. How am I remembering this? Either way, the Rams had just scored. I believe we were down 20 to 13. And we had to go out and we had to respond as we did in the first half. The offense responded very well in the first half to a lot of the Rams scores, a lot of the Rams big drives. We didn't. We just did not. And the big thing that sticks out, I believe it's a 3rd and 4. We're in a situation where Tyler Lockett is not on the field, and we take a deep shot on 3rd and 4 from our own 30. We take a deep shot to DK. Am I pro DK deep shots on 3rd and 10 or 2nd and 9? Sure, I am. On 3rd and 4, your goal should be to get the necessary yards and give what the defense is going to give you, or take what the defense is going to give you. Don't try to create some sort of crazy play where, oh, DK 60-yard bomb, touchdown. So, I mean, obviously that would be great if that happened, but that's just not the way that football is played. Situational coaching today was simply not there. We did not call the right plays when we needed to. In the second half, we just did not have any single answer for what the Rams were doing. They were blitzing. Raheem Morris, that defense was really just owning us that whole second half. I believe we had 12 yards all second half, which is, I think, might be historically bad. I'd have to do some research on that or get some research. I think that might be historically bad. 12 net yards in the second half is horrific. I believe we got outgained by like 215 yards or something like that in the second half. It was feeble. The team was entirely feeble in the second half. And late in the game, things get bad, and DK Metcalf starts taunting and taking cheap shots at Rams players, which, listen, I'm for competing. I'm for not being happy when you lose, but to me, this just shows a total lack of coaching and team control. When you have players going out there, especially team leaders, team faces, going out there and acting like kids when we are getting blown out in our own house, it's embarrassing. It really is, because now the joke's on you. The joke is on you already, but if you're getting blown out and then you're going to act like a baby, that's when things can go off the rails and you kind of feel like everybody's laughing at you. Why are you taking a deep shot on Akello Witherspoon when we are down by 14 with 2 minutes left? Like, why are you doing that? Why are you taunting players to get to 2nd and 2? You're taunting players on the Rams team. Why are you taunting when we are down by 14 points? Like, this team has to be better at realizing the situations that it's in and expanding for what the team will give you. I feel like the coaching was the really bad thing I took away today. Coaching was just terrible. I'm going to be real. The coaching is an F for me. Just situational, team control wise, the play calling wise. I feel like it was all terrible. And then you kind of touch on the offense and the defense just being bad on top of that, as if it's not bad enough. If this is the team we're going to get, this is not a playoff team. It's easy to say that. The Rams are not a good team, or not at least a very good team. Maybe if we lost like this to the 2021 Super Bowl Rams, I'd be like, well, We didn't show up, but they're not. This team is not the 2021 Super Bowl Rams. They're missing their best offensive player, and you still get shredded for 300 yards by Matt Stafford. It's embarrassing. And what we're talking about is a team that has no direction at all. And obviously, like I said, when you get Jamal Adams and when you get Devin Witherspoon back, maybe these things will change. I don't think that two players will come in and drastically flip your defense. At least that's not the way that it worked for the Rams, because Cooper Kupp was out and they freaking shredded us at every step of the field. It's bad. It's about the worst start I could imagine. Unless we're talking like 45 is nothing. But we get booed off the field by the fans. I'm really interested to hear what they say in the press conference, because I am so let down in this team right now, and I think everybody is. Play the Lions next week. I'll do a little bit of a preview on that. It's not going to be good. It is not going to be good. My prediction, to put it mildly. I don't like it. I don't like the matchup, at least what we saw this week. And well, if the team continues to play like this and start just so slow, we are talking about things perhaps going off the rails really fast. You have the Lions next week, a team that beat the reigning Super Bowl champions in their own house on opening night, a team that looked really good in the pass game. The run game looked really good for them, and their defense looked really strong against Patrick Mahomes. So, you're talking about, so you're starting off here. You travel to Detroit next week. That game has total disaster written all over it. Then you're at home against the Panthers. The Panthers played pretty okay today. I mean, they lost to Atlanta, but they were in it for a lot of the game. And then, so, if we're talking about maybe you beat the Panthers, let's just hypothesize here, right? Lose to the Rams, you lose to the Lions, you beat the Panthers, we'll say. You go to the Giants on Monday Night Football, you lose that game. You go to Cincinnati, you lose that game. You're at home against Arizona, let's say you win that game. At this moment, you're 2-5. Then you play against the Browns at home. That's probably a loss if the team continues to play like this. And then we're going to Baltimore. You can kind of read the writing on the wall. If the team continues to play like this is a 2-7 start, which is first overall pick worthy. I'm not going to overreact and say this is the team that we are going to see all year, because I don't think it is. I think that the team will probably be whatever. But based on what we saw today, I expect to not make the playoffs. I think you can rattle off a notable list of teams that felt much better than us today. The Eagles, the Cowboys are going to be better than us. The Giants, the Commanders, the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, the Saints, perhaps the Falcons, the Niners, the Rams. That's more than 7 teams. Things have to change. It's not going to be too long before I start calling for some coaching changes, especially on the defense with, Clint Hurt just not doing anything. Ultimately, very disappointing, deflating week 1. If I had to give some grades, Geno Smith gets a C-. I can't say that I'm going to put a lot of stuff on Geno. O-line totally let down the second half. Charles Cross got hurt. Abe Lucas got hurt. I'm not going to put too much on Geno. The run game was fine. Maybe like a B. They played pretty well. I felt like receivers get like a D+, D. Just they not there today. And then you kind of then push on to the O-line, which was bad. Tight ends were bad. And then you didn't want to get started on the defense. D-line probably gets an F. Corners probably get an F. Safeties get probably a D. Linebackers get maybe like a C-. It's bad. It's a very deflating week one. And it feels like if the season continues like this, hope is going to be lost very quickly. This was a year where the expectations were high. And frankly, you essentially just took a big piss on the expectations in week one. Now this team has no expectations. If anything, the fan base is expecting exactly the opposite. And as much as people say, "Oh, we want to be the underdog. We want to be the team that everybody doubts," you never want to be the underdog if you were expected to be really good. You think the Broncos last year when they were playing and they were what 2-5 or whatever at one time in the season? Do you think Nathaniel Hackett's in that locker room saying we like being the underdogs? No. You think if the Chiefs start 1-5 this year, they're going to come out and say we like being the underdogs. We like having that target on our back. We like everybody in the media talking about us. No, because you want to start good if you're expected to be good. I'm sick of this underdog narrative when the media and everybody expects you, looks at your roster and says, this is a team that can complete for a playoff spot. People are saying the Seahawks could be a sleeper to win the NFC West. Frankly, that ain't happening. The Niners blew out the Steelers in Pittsburgh today. Brock Purdy looked amazing. Their defense allowed like 1 yard in the first half. And now you're talking about the Seahawks perhaps being that sleeper team. The Seahawks are not as good as the 49ers. Frankly, they're not even in the same ballpark right now. I kind of expected the Seahawks to be a 10-7 team. I expect them at this moment to maybe win 7 or 8 games. It's embarrassing. Things have to be fixed. Things have to be changed. And I'm not liking the direction of this team right now. Everything took a big left turn, it feels like. It feels like everybody was expecting something good. Coaches, players, fans. Everybody was expecting this team to pay off early on, pay dividends, offense to be explosive, defense to be improved, special teams to still be great. And to be fair, the special teams was pretty good. I mean, Jason Myers missed a field goal, but he made 2. I don't really know. The field goal wouldn't have changed much anyways. But all in all, this is a game that just totally was never in the Seahawks' hands after the first half. Seahawks go into half leading 13-7, thinking, oh, here we are. Here we are. It's time to put your foot on the gas, get playing. That didn't happen. And I think this team is going to let a lot of people down, especially early on. I don't like to be too negative. I don't like to be too unrealistic because if I was reacting based on just emotions right now, I tell you, I think the Seahawks are going to win 4 games this year. I don't think they're going to win 4 games. I think but I'm going to be fair. I'm not going to be unrealistic, but I'm going to be fair. And I think that this team is not as good as everybody thought they were, at least from how they played today. Yeah, I mean, at least if you're a Steelers fan, you get thrashed by the Niners. At least you can say, well, the Niners are an insanely good team. The Rams are not an insanely good team. This is, I mean, if we're talking about teams that are about the same, this is the equivalent of starting at home and getting thrashed by like the Raiders. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. This is an open discussion. I will make a video sometime this week with my Lions game prediction. Let me know how you feel. Give me your thoughts on my opinions, your opinions that I didn't say. Devin Witherspoon can't come back soon enough. Trey Brown, Mike Jackson, they stink. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not too unrealistic, but I'm fair. These guys kind of stink. They are just not very good. There's a reason why they're backups. There's a reason why they're kind of career backups. Yeah, Devin Witherspoon can't come back soon enough. So let me know what you think about what I said. Your thoughts. Leave a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell because I know you're going to be wanting to hear about these Seahawks all week long. So let me know what you think. Drop some love in the comments. Drop some love on that like button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.